Hello and welcome again to 10 Things About Writing. And today I'm going to talk about an unpalatable aspect of writing, but a very necessary one. And I hope at the end of this you'll realise that it is not necessarily always a negative one, and that is rejection. Now, if you have got into writing expecting to have nothing but successes and nothing but compliments and praise, then you have probably got a big surprise coming, because much of the process of being published, and also the continuing process of remaining in print and continuing to do the thing that you do, much of this involves rejection of one sort or another. And it's absolutely vital to get this into context and to understand how to manage it. Now, you may think, oh, Joanne, you've been in the business for like 30 years. You've had 20 years of best-selling novels. What do you remember about rejection? Time have changed. Probably you've not seen a rejection letter for 20 years. Well, this isn't really true. The more you write, the more likely you are to be rejected by somebody or other. And although, I may have books in print and they may be doing very well, it doesn't mean that that's necessarily a universal truth. I get rejected a lot, especially as I write a lot of different things. I write things within the fantasy sci-fi genre. Some are within the literary fiction genre. Some of them are experimental things. They don't work everywhere they go. What works well in England can be entirely rejected in America, for instance. I often have problems with America because I think America has problems understanding that one person can do a lot of different things, and they have difficulty selling those things to a public that basically just expects one thing. And so, yes, I still get rejection and I still remember what it's like, and it still sucks. I think we have to get this right. Whatever you feel about rejection, it will not be a great thing. You will not go, oh, hooray, a rejection letter. What a great opportunity for learning. And although I hope that at the end of this, you'll realise that actually that's exactly what it is also fine to think rejection sucks and it hurts and it feels personal. Now, I am here to tell you that although it's fine to feel that, it is not really that. Rejection is not a rejection of you as a person. It is a rejection of the idea that you have come up with as a commercial prospect. And sometimes people get things wrong. Sometimes agents and publishers get things totally wrong and they reject something that's absolutely great. And a few years down the line, they are proved to be wrong. And sometimes they accept it and they go, hands up, I didn't see that coming. Or sometimes they double down and they go, well, nobody could have seen that coming. But either way, sometimes people get things wrong. But also, it is important to understand that you can't avoid rejection. The only way you can avoid it is by never showing your work to anybody, never sending it out, never trying, never making a push. And I know, because you're still here, that that's not you. So first and foremost, yes, rejection sucks. If you get a rejection letter, hey, this is how I deal with them. I read them through, I curse and swear a bit, and when I had cats, I would put them in the cat litter tray. When I didn't have cats, I would put them as part of a sculpture that I was making of rejection letters. You express your opinions to yourself and in private. What you don't do is get online and tell the editor or agent or publisher how wrong they were and how you are going to prove them wrong, because that sounds silly and petulant. And you know what? It also slams a door that you could have left open. And the important thing in this business is to keep as many doors open as possible. Because what you can't do, if you are hoping to join a business and be part of a business and work with the business, is to blame the business when you get something rejected. Now, it's not necessarily always your fault if you're rejected. It's not always the fault of your book. It's not always because your book was rubbish. However, it would be your fault if you came out like a petulant child, slammed the door in the face of somebody who had given you feedback, and took your bat home. This is not the way to engage with the business. And so find a way to react that doesn't involve somebody else. Punch a cushion, make a sculpture, swear a lot. I tend to swear a lot, and also make tea. That helps too. Get it out of your system that way. And then look long and hard. Give it a little time, but look long and hard at what you submitted and try to think why it was rejected. And there are a number of reasons for this. One is that it went to the wrong person. People tend to have their preferences. It could be that your story just ended up on the wrong desk at the wrong time. Somebody did not see its potential. In that case, somebody else will. You keep sending your work out until it lands on the right desk at the right time, and eventually someone will see its potential. If it's been rejected by dozens of people, that's probably not the case. And you need, once you've got yourself in a position to look at the situation objectively, you need to ask yourself, okay, clearly this number of people thought that my book was not commercial enough. Why? And you look at it and you think, okay, have I had any feedback? Has somebody told anything that's useful to me? If they have, try to use it. See if your story can be fixed and made more commercial. If not, you know what? Put it aside. Write something else. You can always come back to it later. Because actually the thing about these doors in publishing is that once you've got one open or half open, and once you've got something that works through that door, something that has been successful, then you can possibly try to revisit rejected works, rework them. And if you still feel 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, that they're worth it, then you can revisit them. You can do something else with them. You can make them live again. But what you don't do is blame the business, because when you want to be part of the business, then you can't blame the business if the business asks you to work by its rules. So yes, rejection sucks, but it can also be part of the learning process, and you need to accept it as such. Now, it's very difficult to say to somebody or to get them to understand when they're first starting off that it may take a number of tries to get something that works. Certainly my first try at getting published was not something that was commercially viable. I thought it was. I thought it was great. Guess what? All authors think that their stuff is great, really. However insecure they might be, they all think that it could work, because otherwise they wouldn't do it. And that is actually a good thing. That's not me saying beginner authors are naive, although maybe they are a little. It is a good thing that you believe in your work, because you have to. It has to sustain you during the period of time where you're not being accepted to the time when you actually achieve what you want to achieve. And it's important to understand that nothing you write is ever wasted. I've said this to you before. You need to understand it. You need to make it your mantra. Nothing that you write is ever wasted, because everything that you do builds on something else. And the writing that you do that gets rejected, that is the strengthening scaffolding which holds together the thing which finally will make it. So I'm not asking you to love rejection. Nobody loves rejection. But see it not as a failure, not as a rejection of you, not as a sign that the industry hates you, that nobody understands you, and that you are never going to achieve anything. It's not that. Rejection is the proof that you did something, you tried something, somebody didn't want it, but somebody else may, or they may want something else that you do. Every rejection is an opportunity to look at what you do and to think, right, what have I learnt from this? Because if you haven't learnt anything, then you're not making progress. But if you have, and these lessons are hard, I'm not pretending they're not, but if you have, then the next thing you do will be better. And the next thing you do will be better. So don't think of the rejection process as a series of failures. Think of it as a series of hard-fought battles, lessons to be learnt. And the more educated you are in the way the book business works, the more educated you are in what attracts somebody, what catches their eye, what makes them engage, and what doesn't, the better you will be. Till next time, goodbye, good luck, keep writing.